Hi everyone, it's Tuesday, the 2nd of June, and I want to share something with you. I used to have a habit when worked in the police force. I used to have a habit of checking my bottom. Every day when I left the house and I jumped on my motorbike, I used to tap my bum as I was riding off. Why? Because when we first joined at Hendon, they told us the importance of carrying our warrant card with us at all times. That even if we were in uniform, our authority came not from our uniform, but from this badge and a shiny kind of shield that was in our warrant card. And that's where our real authority came from. And we had to carry that with us even when we were off duty. And so it was my habit when I left the house, particularly going to work, that I just slapped my backside just to make sure I got my wallet in my back pocket. But have you ever got that feeling where you used to, you've left the house and you think, I'm sure I've forgotten something. Every time we go to France, I think because we're going for such a long time and such a long journey that you really need to make sure that you've got everything before you go. And there's so many things that we need to take that I have that feeling for about 10 minutes at the beginning of the journey, that horrible, nagging kind of pit of your stomach feeling that you're sure you've forgotten something. Or if you've ever watched Bake Off and they've baked a cake and it turns out they forgot to put the eggs in at the beginning and the cake doesn't taste the same. Well, do you ever think God has that problem? Do you ever think that God turns around and goes, I'm pretty sure I should have done something, but I can't, I don't think I did. Do you think God ever has that problem? I really don't think so. Especially as he has eternity to ponder it and think about it before he does anything. So I think he's pretty much got things sewn up. So when it comes to healing, do you think he's forgotten anything? And if he could do something about it, he would. And I'm talking specifically about what Jesus came to do. If God could make a way for healing to be more available through Jesus' death and resurrection, do you think he would have included it? This thinking prompted me, or I was prompted today by what Jackie said in WhatsApp today, where she took communion last night and she used a cracker and she broke a bit of the cracker off during communion and ate it. And then when communion had finished, she thought, I'll finish off the rest of the cracker. And then it reminded her of how much more she wants of her relationship with Jesus. And then she made her think about how God provided the manna for his people in the desert, that for 40 years he provided this wonderful, miraculous food. And the idea was that they could come out in the morning and collect as much as they needed for the rest of the day, knowing that it would be there again tomorrow. And they all had as much as they needed. And so, if God can do that with manna, because he did when he first released his people from slavery, he declared to them, I am the Lord who heals you, physical healing. But then also, he provided for them as well, didn't he? Physical food. And so, if there was a time when he could break through into our time and actually secure healing for us, do you think he would include it and not forget? Well, when Adam, as we were talking about yesterday, remember how Adam blamed God for what happened. He said, it was the woman that you gave me. She gave me some of the fruit to eat. The enemy wants us to blame God, to fight God, to be scared of God, to hide from God, when actually the opposite is what we need to do. And the opposite is what God is desiring us for us to do, to come to him, to seek him. And interestingly, the Bible where is it? In Corinthians. That's 1 Corinthians 15. In verse 45, it said, the first Adam became a living being. The last Adam, a life-giving spirit. The second Adam came from heaven. The first Adam came from earth, and the second Adam came from heaven. So Jesus is the second Adam, or the last Adam. So what did Adam lose when he sinned? Well, pretty much everything apart from physical life. He lost his connection with God. He lost the blessing. He lost the authority that God had given him. And instead, the world was under the authority of the enemy. The world was under the curse rather than the blessing. And the relationship, the separation between God and man had occurred as well. So that's what Adam lost. So if God could bring back a second Adam to restart again in Jesus, what do you think he would include in that amazing sacrifice that Jesus made? Do you think if he could make a provision for healing to be restored to mankind, as well as forgiveness and restoration of relationship and blessing? Do you think that's possible? Well, I think that's, I don't think God forgot and left out healing. I thought, missed the trick there. I think from scripture, as we'll see tomorrow, that actually he fully intended and fully did include healing within Jesus Christ's sacrament as a sacrifice. So ponder that one, and I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you. Bye bye.